Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. We're grateful that you're here. Gratitude of the Father was so helpful to us in today to really look at what gratitude is, because I could see there can be a habit of saying, I'm grateful for this chair, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for, and it can be helpful. It's just when we really look with Jesus what gratitude is. Gratitude is who we are. In the light of infinite being that we start with in these circles that we celebrate, every circle we celebrate, we come together. The ego doesn't celebrate. It tries to find a reason why not to come to the circle and why not to be the light. But coming together in the power of divine being, as divine being, to celebrate what's already here, perfect, whole, and complete. That's what Jesus is pointing to now. To see light, divine being is an instantaneous recognition. There's no tomorrow, there's no waiting, there's not having to go up a flight of stairs. In the light of divine being, in honesty of God, is the light here now? Is there something here, even if we can't say yet it's ourselves? We can't say it's ourselves, but denial say, oh, that's not me. That's interesting. That's a parlor trick in which I look and I see that there's nothing here. The light of divine being. It's not a light with the eyes, is it? It's infinite light. The light of the mind, the infinite mind that's always here. It's the one consistent thing. Everything else changes and moves. 1 second and go home. I love that. Papa G, are you willing to spend 1 second to see what's really here before thought? Is that worth time to see that there's no time? In the light of infinite being, is there time? Can we find time as an experience, an infinite being? The infinite light that lights everyone who's born. This is what Jesus is pointing to now. Go for gold. Do not go sideways. Giving me the talk on seeing what you're turning down when we're saying no to ourselves. When we say no to follow the Holy Spirit, begin to see, oh, I'm just saying no to everything. All that I am. Not to follow the Holy Spirit is to say no to infinite being. In the light of divine nature, the light. The only thing that's shared, the only thing that's true. Does the light of infinite being know anything other than sharing? Does it have like a little limit? No, you get some of me and you get some of me in the light of divine being. Does it go out and take a little cookie cutter and cut a little piece out and give it to this one? Or is it just everything? Is everything that's light, yet nothing? Does it know any limits in the light of divine being? Can a limit be found anywhere? Let's really look for it. We can go through every single emotion. So it feels helpful. In the light of divine being, infinite being, is there anger in there somewhere that we can find? We just hunt for it in light of divine being. Can divine being, and if we have one thought of anger, let's just say, ask Jesus, show me one thing, Jesus, where I was upset or angry. And then see in the light what happens to it. Infinite being and unhappiness. And I put those two together and see which one is still there. So then we'll just pick any other emotion that we want, any other upset, sadness. Jesus, show me a time when I was sad, that I might still be kind of, think it might be just kind of right below my level of awareness. But see, the great thing is, because we're infinite beings, we can pull it right into awareness immediately when we want to, because that's what a story is. A story about somebody did something to me in the past, and we're going to bring it right into the present as though it's happening now, and then experience it again, experience the sadness of it. Let's just take a little piece of some memory and just put that memory in the light of divine being and see what happens to it. Can it coexist in the light? In our direct experiences, light means. Can sadness coexist in the light? That's all Jesus wants to show us. That's it. That's it. Done. All he's calling us to is to show us that nothing we thought was real is real, and we'll be really happy about it. That's it. No thought, feeling, emotion that we thought was real is real. And it's a happiness, but the way the ego works, it's going to go, oh, that's going to be terrible if there's something bad under there, so don't look, or the light's going to get me. So let's just find another thing that maybe in our history somewhere we thought was just terrible that we did, or, you know, comes up every now and then, and just put that in the light and see what happens to it. Can it coexist with the light? We're just testing the light out to see if it's true. In divine light, does that exist? And we'll just go look, and that's exactly all Jesus is pointing to when he says, search your mind is this. That's it. Search your mind, find something in your mind that you believe is true, contraction, unhappiness, and just put it in the light and see if it stays there. That's the correction. The correction is only seeing that it isn't so. That it can't coexist in light. That's all correction is, to see it does not coexist with light, infinite light being. Thank Jesus for that simplicity. So grateful. And then at the energetic movement, sometimes it just seems like it's out of control, right? We can't control it. And that's why it's really helpful to ask Jesus, Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness for emotions to feel out of my control? And hear what he says. Because if there is one, then the emotions are going to feel out of our control. Because it's desired experience. We just go under it and go, let's just see if that's there. The desired experience that I can't control how I feel. And it just happens to me. And then put that in the light and see if that belief that emotions just happen to us in the desired experience, is that true? That's just what we're going to question. So we start with the light, infinite light of being, look around in there, because we're not used to. We're always looking around in objective experiencing. We're following thoughts around. We're building little thought castles in pictures, and then they devolve into pictures, and then they feel solid like concrete. That's the miscreation of the hard, solid world. Now he's going, okay, you're light, you're an infinite, powerful being, you can see that you're light, you don't have to wait for, it seems like lightning's going to strike and then I'll be awake. No, we're awake now. And then we choose to sleep, to have an experience of sleeping. Infinite light is anything more alive than infinite light? In our direct experience looking as the light, is anything more alive than the light? Feel the aliveness. It's alive. That's life. Is the body life in our direct experiences? Light means we really look at this in the light. Is the body alive? And hear the answer. The body's not alive. We are life itself, the light. And then. Well, this is really good. I see the light. I understand that. I see the light. It's interesting. It's infinite. Is it infinite? Yes. Does it know depth? Does the light know what depth is? Can it find depth? Hunt around in there and look around? Is the light hiding from anyone? Can we find anyone on this planet in our knowing of this light that cannot recognize this light immediately? It's impossible. It has to be 100% available because it's always here. So now we have light that's always here, infinite, unchanging. Is the light peaceful in our experience? And then we play the game of boot the light. I'm going to boot that light out. And so it's really helpful to go to Jesus and say, Jesus, I'm going to write a letter to myself, and can you help me write it to tell me, because this is what he'll do. Actually, this is what he's offered. Letter to self. Here are all the reasons why I'm telling myself that I am not this light. These are all the reasons why I want to boot myself out of heaven. I'm not worthy. Then you put worthiness in the light. So let me see if that's true. Then ask him the next thing, and he'll deliver it. Show me where I'm telling myself, no, I'm not the light. And he'll give assignments. Here's your assignment. Ego hates those. Oh, I don't want those Jesus assignments. We have to relearn how to express, as the humor of it all is, we have to relearn how to express as divine beings, infinite beings. We cannot do it by ourselves. We got to go ask the one who knows what divine expression is. Now that's a hoot. We're already light, but we have to go learn that because we played consciousness so long, and we played a game of hide and go seek from our divine nature. So now we have to go to the quit pretending school of Jesus. Quit pretending that you're not divine school. That's the happy learner, though. That's how we become happy learners. Because then he tells us, okay, here, that, look at this, this, and this. That's why it's so quick. That's why we don't want to listen to Jesus or have anything to do with the name of Jesus or hear about Jesus or like don't hear that voice, because as soon as you start listen, it's going to go really fast. No delay in time. It collapses the collapse of time. As soon as we start listening uncompromisingly, it is over for an idea of personal identity. Can't survive that. Because we see it's untrue, we don't invest in it anymore. Like Jesus says, you're no longer investing in weakness, that you're small. I like the letter. That was hilarious when he started saying, yeah, just write a letter. Anybody can write a letter to me. And I've done that, and I think many of my mighties have done it. Written a letter to Jesus, they're shaking Renee's written.
Jesus, but
yeah, but she doesn't call it Jesus. Anya's so sitting over there. She doesn't call it genius. You can call it, because we said you can call him Beelzebub, whatever you want to call him. But it's the whatever it speaks, higher self, however it speaks to you. As I've told many, the last voice I wanted to or admit that I was hearing Jesus. So it's whatever voice, whatever that voice is, speaks of truth, and have it write a letter with it. And then ask it questions. It will answer. It's just remarkable. You'll find things coming out like heaven will start pouring out, particularly after a correction. You can hear the voice right after correction because the mind quiets after all that noise, and then you put it in the light. You go take notes, write notes down, and then you can start having a conversation. It's the most amazing and beautiful and precious. Jesus, what about this? Or whoever it is you want to call higher self. And then find yourself typing and you'll read it. You'll read it like months later and go, did that come out of me? Did I really type that? That's profound. It's like with my niece, who's 7. She's 7. I tell the story a lot because it's for me to remind me how simple the course is. When she was pointing to herself and looking at what's here, and she realized there's only light. I said, "What do you see in there?" She goes, "All is forgiven." It's like the whole course.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 3-second course lesson. All's forgiven. We all have this ability. Just pretend. We like pretending that it's not here. Those are beautiful, though, those letters. And you go back and read it, and you go, God, I forgot he told me all that. That's why we have to keep asking him over and over. That's why I just keep asking him. And I can hear him right now. He says he doesn't mind. He's really, this is service to divinity. This is service to everything. This is our only function, service to totality, celebration. Anything else in total peace and happiness, we're settling. Abject joy. Anything other than that, we're settling for a smidgen of what we are. That is glorious, actually. Because then, as soon as our mind becomes, we need that conviction, Jesus says, to be convicted, a sense of urgency, earnestness, and focus, because the ego likes to throw out all these distractions. We like distracting ourselves. It's a desired experience to distract ourselves from divinity. So we can't fall for our own delusions, and that's why we need Jesus to go, okay, here's the delusion, there's a little delusion here, here's an extra one, and just tell us where all the delusions are, and ask them. Ask. I'm asking him. Can we ask too many questions? He says no. Impossible. Because that's when the humility really comes in. The willingness to learn. Is when we start asking him everything. Like with an open mind to really hear it, and let it sink totally in. Oh yes, right, I am wrong about everything. With that kind of like a little child going, okay. That's accepting correction too, it says. Yeah, it says it's accepting, letting him correct. And you can see him when he talks to Helen in that way too. That your text has been really, I know I've talked about it a lot, but I can see why he's pointing to go read it. Because you see the relationship and you learn how he corrects. So there's the correction of, okay, here's anger rising up. And then, okay, he shows you that it's false. When we're willing to look, okay, anger does not exist. When the light of finding it doesn't exist. But he's also constantly, when we have that talking kind of, whatever it appears, I hear a sound, I hear the voice, but other beings, sometimes I just have a feeling, some beings have a feeling. David Hoffman just says, I get a little tickle in my heart, however it works, because it works for everyone, just different ways. But there's kind of like a correction. It's like having a rudder in a way. It's just going to turn left or right, saying, don't go that way, no, this way. So is this? No. Yes. It becomes like a rudder. I don't know. That's probably not the best description. But I find it really helpful to be able to ask on anything and start getting a yes or no. It just saves a lot of time. Otherwise, before I would just kind of go off spinning somewhere. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing. Playing in consciousness, I guess. Playing in consciousness. Playing lost in consciousness, lost in unhappiness. before. So that's all we're asking for. Here's the light, infinite meaning, infinite happiness. Light doesn't know. Does the light know anything that's not happy? We're so sure, I could see that too. We're so sure that something bad's in there. That's an interesting miscreation. Something's really horrible in there. That's why the honing is to turn and just be with it. You know, no distractions, don't allow any distractions, no sideways, just turn and look directly at everything. That's the experience here. Give it to me, Jesus, give it to me straight. If for any being with a call, yeah, Jesus saying anyone with a call, because he's going to answer it so acutely and so quickly. The real call to know themselves as God made them, like to have a direct experience of Course in Miracles. But if it's a toe dip, it's going to hurt a lot. I know I toe dip for a lot. Let me just try out this infinite thing. I'm just going to try it out a little. And for here, I start to see that it's got to be all in, full throughout the burn. Seeming burn. Just complete. We're worthy of that. We're worthy of 100% focus on this and nothing else. And then as he said, and he promises, Jesus, I'm asking right now. Am I saying yes? He said, ask me to take on all the details so that you can focus on this one thing, and the one thing is to see all the denials and let them clear consciousness. And will you, Jesus, take on everything? He says yes. Let him handle the details, and we just focus on purely clearing out the denials. And will you prompt, I can hear him now, like, will you prompt me when I need a prompt? He says, if you listen to me. The challenge is he gives the prompt and then we won't listen. So we also have to play our part by when he gives us a prompt, follow it and do it, and don't get involved in all the objections that are rising out of the denials. It's like, okay, yes, sir. Because we're so used to playing the denial game. But he will start, you can start to see him handling all the, we watch it around here, where he starts handling a lot of things I sure wouldn't want to deal with. Yeah, I mean, I would if it shows up, because now I know I can just ask him and go, okay, Jesus, like, what do I do here? Now he's starting to say, just let me handle it. It's like, okay. It's like the less involved, the happier. No, I don't need to think about it. Okay, he's going to bring it to my attention when I need to see it. That's happiness. Because I used to worry about the little strategic planner. You know, I was a little strategic planning facilitator. Corporate operations. Like a corporate operation. That feels tight just thinking about it. Oh my God, 5-year strategy. We were just talking about this week. No future. Oh, that's a relaxation. I can't even think about a future. It gives me a headache. We need to see why we have headaches and stuff, because we're thinking about a future. We're thinking about hell, which is a future. He says, no future. Oh, relaxation. Not a thought about a future. And that's why he's telling us, okay, I'm going to tell you right when you need to know things. You go everywhere I say, do everything I tell you to do, and let's speak my words. That becomes so simple and happy. It's like, okay, he's going to tell me. And in that, oh man, so much love in that relationship. Not him, the part of myself. It's not an other. It's what is speaking. It's our birthright. I love that. He told Helen, I'll handle the minutia. Let me handle it. It's like, oh, thank you. All right. But it can take some time, seemingly, before we're gonna let them handle it, because we're so used to like handling everything. I gotta do everything. I can't just sit back here and let the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit handle this. I gotta get in there and do planning. I remember I went on a vacation one time with my parents to Alaska. I don't think you could have wedged a dime in that schedule, because I scheduled the entire thing from soup to nuts. I mean, it's not hard, but you could see, it was that control mechanism in place, We're gonna be serious about this fun we're having, I had to plan out the whole thing. I gave my parents a schedule. Here's what we're doing every day, every minute of the day. I am not kidding now, but for the Boston ACIM conference, I didn't make any plans at all, except to stay at Vicky Poppy said I could stay at her bottom place. I didn't care where I slept. It was wonderful. You just every day go, okay, what am I doing today? I love it. It's wonderful. I see why he's telling us that's peace of mind. So it feels good to ask him. Just say, Jesus, I'm going to ask him. That feels really good. Ask him. And you start when you're asking him, after a while, for here, like you get really, like this little jolt of happiness. We like asking the divine, having a conversation with infinite love. Tell me about any kind of desire for a future. That feels really good. That may be lingering below my level of awareness. Future. Just willing to see the itch for a future. Show me the places in my mind where I'm trying to control the future or create one. Because it's self-torture. That's what I'm realizing. To have a future is self-torture. And that's why I follow the spirit every single time. It kills the future idea, the future concept that there is a future. In the light of divine being and infinite being, can we find a future? Does the infinite being have like a little calendar? Because we really have to look at this, because the belief is so strong that there is future. Does the infinite being have a future? A calendar, here's what I'm doing the next couple of weeks. Does infinite being have that? And to a personal identity, it's going, well, what do you mean you haven't planned out the next 5 years? You don't have your strategic life plan. I mean, it was purposeful. The spirit could use that. It's all innocence. Like, spirit doesn't judge if we do a strategic plan. It's just that we are internally not going to be happy with the strategic plan in the future, because it's death. We're killing ourselves. I mean, we can't really kill ourselves. Can infinite being die in the light of divine being in our direct experience? In our direct experience, infinite light, can we die? But we start to see, I can understand why he says, I have to tell you everything to do and where to go and say. We have to be that humble, because we are so lost in the maze of the toyland of the creation of consciousness. We're lost in the billions of tapes. And it's so apparent to me. I just realized we'll walk into any store in America, and you just see thousands and billions of items all lined up on the shelves. And you go, well, how do you choose? And we can just get lost in the store with all that, trying to buy, and it's exhausting. So I retire all the time, because we have this idea that you go into a store and choose something. Well, if spirit's seemingly choosing for you, it's going to show us that there's no choice whatsoever. In the light of infinite being, does infinite being have a choice? In our direct experience, can we find a choice in infinite being? It doesn't know what that is. Infinite being knows no choices, just is. That's happiness. And we can all hear that voice. This is the happiest news of heaven. We can hear that voice right now, because the only way we would know that infinite being is here and that there's no death is to be infinite being. And if this isn't an answer, again, this is the answer my 7-year-old niece knows. We can see that the light, everyone is light. There is only light. And that's why it's so helpful to go to Jesus. Stay as the light. You can stay as the light. That will burn out a lot of energies, these energies. And some of them are so buried, the lower level awareness. It's like, oh, I've been in peace such a long time. All of a sudden, I'm just off the rails. That's because deep below the level of awareness. And that's why working every day with Jesus and asking him, okay, show me. Like I see the light. I'm willing to see I am the light. Because we've done such a good job, even when we see the light and we go, well, that's interesting. And don't really stay with the light as the light of the divine being. Kind of pitch it out and then go, oh, I got other things to do. It does have to be, I has to be single for God in this kingdom. We can see why. Because of the toyland. Infinite toyland. Our mind, the mind, not a personal mind, the mind has the capacity, if we just quietly look around us at the diversity that's being created in every moment, just through thought, without any effort whatsoever. Patterns in the rug, ant crawling on the ground, while the bird flies across here. Without any effort whatsoever, a dream is created. Not a single effort. All this is made. And Jesus told me directly, he said, yes, and it's a demonstration, but it's nothing compared to infinite who you are. So he's saying, don't get lost in it. Come to me, and I will give you rest. When the decision is made that we no longer want to play like something's happening to me, and he's there for us with an invaluable offer. I will ask me, I will show you how you do not want to be forgiven. That's what you do not want forgiveness. You do not want to see that you're already forgiven. Is the divine light, is there forgiveness needed in infinite light? Can we find that as an experience? It's very humbling to see that we are infinite being pretending to say no to ourselves and suffering. That God doesn't want that for us. So we thank him for coming and walking with us in that offer. I will help you see directly. I will help you see. What you need to see so that you don't have to suffer unnecessarily. And also, because there's an idea, how much work we have to do on the spiritual journey. I can see it here. There are so many ideas about that, a lot of work, and I have to do it, and I have to get involved. And he's saying, stay out of it and let me in. Oh, thank you, Jesus. And he does. We just see that. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the mighties that come and focus on the light together and see what's true together. This is a fast trip with the light circles, Jesus says. Very fast. If that's truly the call of the heart, to know God, know ourselves as divine being. Light circles and follow him, no matter what he tells us. That's for me. So thank you, beloveds.